That's how I feel when people talk about getting old and expect me to get old. I'm 59 years old and I've started these new series of videos on YouTube and this new channel to inspire people in their 50s and in their 60s to get out and to run. I've been a runner most of my life, but I've always had people telling me to slow down, take it easy. Why would you do that? I want to encourage you, turn off the TV, come and be inspired to get out into the open air and to walk if you've never walked, to jog if you've never jogged, or to run with me if you've never run. And together over the weeks, we'll encourage one another to go and do something. If you enjoy these videos as you watch them, please hit the subscribe button and the bell and the like, and then you'll be notified as when the others come. I'm hoping to do them regularly, and my aim is to encourage older folk to go and get some exercise. So enjoy. This is a 7.5 mile run, and the first 1.5 miles is straight up. So this is fabulous. My favourite place in the world to come and run. Up in a village called Osmotherley, outside Osmotherley in the North Yorkshire Moors. And this run, as I said, is a 7.5 mile run over the tops. And it's wonderful, it takes my breath away. But it's a privilege to live in a place like this where you can run so freely, and I'm blessed. Beautiful North Yorkshire Moors. I've lived longer here than I did even in Ireland when I was a young lad. I've lived longer over here with Kathy. But it's a blessing to live in a place like this. So the reason I've done these videos is to try and inspire people who are slightly older. I'm 59, in a few weeks I'll be 60, and so this video tonight, this first one on YouTube, is called Should You Run When You're in Your 50s? Well, in a few weeks time I'll be doing a second one or a third one, I'm not sure what number it will be, but it'll be entitled, well, should I run when I'm in my 60s? And the answer to both those questions, of course, is yes. Don't be daft. What else? What's your choice? The first thing I would say though is don't take it too seriously. You're running. Slow down a little bit. I'm stopped now talking to you on the camera. That would have been anathema to me when I was in my 20s and 30s. I didn't stop for anyone when I was running. I just kept going. But now I will stop because it's important to take in the scenery. Life's not just about the destination, but the journey as you go along. And so I've learned to stop a little bit. So the time, I've got my running watch here and I time myself, but it doesn't matter tonight. It's not important what the time is in doing this. The important thing is the enjoyment that it gives to me as a 59-year-old. So that's the first thing. Don't take your running too seriously. Having said not to worry about the time that you take, do make sure that you run, because it's in the open air that we can experience some of the greatest things in life. So turn off the TV and make sure at some stage you do get out and get some exercise. Whether you're walking, you can get quicker and quicker, or whether you want a light jog and go for a run. I started doing very little at the beginning, but I'm past the sort of couch to 5K bit. This is 7.5 miles tonight, and I'm going through this series of YouTube videos. I'm going to extend and hopefully get into some long mileage, but we'll see how we get on. I've stopped for a little rest. I'm on a seat, the only seat on my run. I've never stopped at this before, but I'm 1.5 miles from my car, and it reminds me of a couple of years ago. I was on this very run just before I went to Romania to speak at a conference, and I slipped and fell. Now when that happened to me as a young lad, I used to run all the quicker. If I was falling, I would run myself out of it, but I couldn't do it and I fell. I'll show you a picture of it. I fell just along the road here and I split. I heard this popping and my top lip just opened and blood gushing everywhere. It was horrendous, really. I didn't need any stitches. They said to me it would heal naturally, and I have a moustache that covers it up. But that's what I'm saying about, listen, when you get older, I'm a little bit slower than I was, and so I don't need to be as competitive with myself as I used to be. I want to enjoy it. Look at this, it's just... And the second thing that I want to say about running at my age is to take a phone. I'm actually videoing on my phone, but Kathy, my wife, asked me to take this phone with me. And part of the reason for that is that when I fell that time, I smashed my lip. I wasn't able to contact anybody and I had no way of being identified, so I carry a phone now with me all the time. And the third thing I would say is shoes. I used to be, when I was younger, I never bought any new shoes much. And when I went out running, I used shoes that I was finished with at home that I could run in the hills with. and the grips were all gone. That's ridiculous. Now at my age, I need to make sure that I'm going to be sure with my feet. And so these are a pair of Solomons that I have here today, if I can put them up in front of you. They're Solomons. And I've just bought a new pair of them. And so I don't scrimp anymore when I'm out on trail, particularly trail runnings. If you can look at the ground I'm on here, this is pretty soft up here. And I go over a lot of rocks. And if you slip on them, you're in big trouble. And all the more important when you get a little bit older. Make sure that you have good shoes. Don't think you're wasting money on good shoes. Your feet are worth an awful lot, so make sure you invest in them. But the most important thing of all, I would have to say, is to enjoy it. I run with a smile on my face almost continually. And the reason I do, I get away from the sun, the reason I do is because this is beautiful. I hardly see anybody up here, but if I swing right around, you'll go to the sun, so it'll get a bit strange. But look at that. What can you hear? Nothing. My watch maybe. But it's just wonderful, and so I encourage people, make sure you get out into the open air and start enjoying it. Life begins at whatever you want to make it begin. You can shout an age if you like. I have this awful feeling, you know, or this, I suppose I get a little bit annoyed really. People talk about retirement. There are certain topics that are talked about all the time when you get to our age. One is retirement. I have no intentions of retiring. I don't have a good enough pension anyway, so there's no point. But I have no intention of doing that. I'm going to work as long as I've got the ability to work and travel for as long as I can travel. That's what I want to do, and so that's what I will do. But one of the things that really bugs me is when you get with people our age, people very soon talk about ailments. So you'll find out who's had a replacement hip, who's had a replacement knee, who's had a hernia. I had a hernia a few years ago. It's amazing how many people I find had hernias, you know. And so you suddenly find that's the topic of conversation. Oh my goodness, it's so boring. Start mixing with people younger than yourself. One of our favourite programmes used to be, particularly up here in the Moors, Kathy and I love Heartbeat. Heartbeat is a wonderful series and we really enjoy it, but it's shown in the afternoon. And because it's shown in the afternoon, it's only really older people who watch TV in the afternoon. So for a while it was sponsored by chairlifts. And so people who couldn't walk upstairs, now God bless them, I'm not running down anybody who can't walk upstairs. Of course you can't, that's fine. But that was what was advertised. You need a stair lift, you need a stair lift. And then it was sponsored by these baths that you couldn't get into, baths that had doors on the side of them that you were sealed, and you get into the bath and you fill it up with water, so you'd have to have a bath. And every advert was geared towards something, or insurance. They were trying to sell insurance. If you're over 55, if you're over 60, you're guaranteed to be accepted, and you get a free partner pet. Oh my goodness, it drive you nuts. When I turned 50, some of the first things that we got through the door were from Saga. Saga is a company that does travel for older people. And all I'm saying is don't get too old before your time. Get out and breathe the air and start to live. 50 is not old, 60 is not old. You're just getting going. There's a lovely story in the Bible of a guy called Caleb who was 85 years old and said, I'm still as strong today as when I started off when I was 40. And so that's wonderful. So I want to encourage you, don't give up on life too quick. Get out, start to run, start to do something that you've not done before. I'll tell you, you'll feel better for it. Your body will feel better for it. Well, you might ache for a while first of all, but I'll tell you, you'll be really blessed. So I'm going to run a wee bit up again soon. I'm heading towards the road now. That's, where are we? Oh, gee, this is always very dangerous. 4.6, 4.7. 4.7 miles. I'm heading towards the 5 mile mark. And I'm back on the road now. The next mile and a half is on the road. So I'm on blacktop, as they call it in America, for the next mile and a half. Then I go off-roading. That's 6.25 miles done. And I've been on the road for the last mile and a half. I'm heading off-road now again. And over another hill. And back to Sheepwash. I do hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, then please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and then you'll be notified when any more come. I'm hoping to do one of these a week and take you on an adventure with me, particularly if you're older, if you're in your 50s or 60s, and you've allowed people to speak into your life and tell you, hey, slow down a little bit. I've had people saying that to me all my life, slow down a little bit. Listen, Nobody's talking to me to tell me to slow down. So there you have it. It's almost 8 miles actually, back to my car. So it's a wonderful beginning of summer's evening. And it's a blessing to be out here. But what a wonderful way just to get out and enjoy the nature. So I'd encourage you, whatever age you are, turn off the TV and get out and enjoy God's wonderful creation. I'll see you soon.